let me just take a breather. Y'all know me. I'm high energy, right? By this point, I was working on my master's of law. Finished law school, passed the bar, then did my master's of law. But the thing that really crystallized for me being a mom and able to be successful is you have to have the support, right?
I remember God saying to me, listen, if you didn't die at the point of impact, you're going to be okay. You know the point of impact. When you get the knock on the door, you know the point of impact. When you pick up the phone and you get that news, if you didn't die on the point of impact, you're going to be all right. That's a good place to clap your hands right there.
Inside of you. There's something more powerful inside of you. Honey, y'all better take a breath. I'm telling you.
It wasn't mine.
You gonna get some deliverance here today. And welcome to the Nicole Mason Show. Yes, the show where we bring the phenomenal women who are movers and shakers in their respective industries. And I always say this every week. Today is like no other day because that is the truth. Yes, 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 indeed. Listen, every time we come together, it's always another powerful woman. And that is the truth. There are no two shows that are alike, right? So I'm so excited today about my guest, my sister friend, and listen, I can't tell you how awesome she is, and I want to take this time to introduce her so that you'll know who she is. Yes, my dear sister, Dr. Vikki Johnson. Dr. Vikki Johnson is a sought-after speaker, chaplain, author, spiritual growth mentor, I love that, sisterhood advocate, living kidney donor, and a proud mom. She is the CEO of Authentic Living Enterprises, which includes her signature media brand, Girl Talk Unplugged, and she is the creator of Soul Wealth Academy, a mentoring experience for women. Dr. Vikki says, as a result of working with my company, women break up with the status quo in their life. They no longer live from survival mode, but live a life of undeniable purpose and fulfillment. Unstuck. They move through the world with clarity, confidence, and self-worth. Dr. Vikki has influenced thousands of women over the last 20 years as a keynote speaker for TED Talk Women, yes, the Pentagon, Department of Commerce, various women's conferences, business, church retreats, and workshops. Dr. Vikki recently left BET Networks after 18 years, where as senior manager of corporate social responsibility, where she was responsible for the day-to-day efforts of the Emmy Award-winning Wrap It Up campaign, the network's HIV/AIDS initiative. She also managed BET's partnership with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Her career has spanned over 30 years in music, sports, entertainment, and community advocacy. Always evolving and committed to equipping other women to walk in wholeness after brokenness, she is also a certified financial educator with First Financial Security, licensed in over 12 states, as an annuities and life insurance producer. A best-selling author, touching thousands with her pen, she has written 9 books. Yes! Dr. Vikki has been featured in Black Enterprise, Heart and Soul, Jet, Essence, Upscale, various blogs, radio shows, and recently re-released her successful book entitled Addicted to Counterfeit Love. She has been the associate pastor of women at Kingdom Worship Center in Towson, Maryland since 1999 and currently serves on the Women's Leadership Council. She received the 2014 Heritage and Community Service Award from the Friends of African American Research Library and Cultural Center in her hometown, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for over 20 years of community advocacy and service. She is a graduate of Howard University, HU, you know, with a BA in Broadcast Management, Calvary Bible Institute, and Seeka University and Seminary with an honorary doctorate of divinity, chaplaincy, and ambassador at large designation. She is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, the National Association of Black Female Executives in Music and Entertainment, ColorCom, Women of Color in Communication, The Boss, Bringing Out Successful Sisters Network, and National Association of Professional Women. Dr. Vikki also enjoys connecting with her audience on most social media platforms. Please visit her website to connect to her online social wealth community, baby. VikkiJohnson.com. That's VIKKI Johnson.com. Why do I do this? I read the whole bio so you know who we got with us. Like Bernie Mac, who you with? Who you with? I'm with my girls.
What's up, Nicole?
Dr. Vikki.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to see you.
It was just
Woosah.
I woosah. Like when you read that long bio, I didn't expect you to read
whatever.
But
I want
grateful.
the folk to know who I'm rolling with. This is who I roll with. Okay. So, girl, you have so much stuff going on.
I do. Can you believe it? Like,
yes.
I'm working on more stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, always
so,
evolving.
Listen, you know we have to talk about all these initiatives, all these great things you have going on. So let me start with the Few Conference. Whoop, whoop.
Next week.
We in Dallas, baby. Yes. And you are bringing the keynote,
the opening
plenary session.
Yes.
We are so excited to have
you. I'm excited. I'm honored. It's amazing.
Let's talk a little bit about the whole sisterhood piece because federally employed women, and you know that's the energy I bring to that organization, really building women up and empowering them. So I cannot wait to hear your message, okay, to start us off, set us on fire. But talk about why sisterhood is so important.
Sisterhood is important because I am my sister. You know, we often talk about I am my sister's keeper, but the reality is I am my sister. And the more women embrace that reality of being, that we're really one, then the more magical experiences we can have individually, collectively, you know, collaboratively.
Yes.
When we connect as women, as sisters, you know, and I'm just on this personal mission, as I know you are, to debunk the myth that women do not get along, that we cannot celebrate one another, that, you know, we don't like each other. That's not true. What I have learned in the 35 plus years or so in ministry and community advocacy is that we cannot give away what we don't have. And so if you don't love yourself, it's difficult for you to celebrate another sister. And so that's the work of authenticity. That's the work of soul wealth. That is the work of sisterhood, because that kind of self-love, self-care, self-evaluation, self-awareness, when done in the sacred space of other women, is a healing experience. And so that's why sisterhood is so important. We nurture, we multiply whatever is given to us.
Yes.
So if I sow seeds of celebration and appreciation and nurturing, and just showing women how amazing they are by walking in how amazing I am, you know, then the whole world is better. Everything thrives on the woman.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's powerful. I mean, so many nuggets, right, in that one piece. So, my thought and my gut reaction, is powerful because there was a study done at Stanford University. And the head of the psychiatry department, when he was presenting this study, he says the best thing that a man can do is marry a woman. That's another whole conversation, right? He said, but the best thing that a woman can do is nurture her relationships with other women.
Absolutely.
Because when we get together, it releases serotonin. And serotonin, of course, as you all know, is a neurotransmitter that we release in our brain. And it makes us feel better. It wards off depression. Yeah. And so this is why we feel so giddy when we get together. It's like, hey. Yeah. And when we part, we feel like we can conquer the world because the energy that has been produced in us coming together is so powerful. So when you start talking about the sacred space and the healing, it is so true because it's been scientifically proven. Some people need the science to say that it's true, right? Mm-hmm. But we know that from a spiritual perspective that is so. And this is why I really love your whole soul wealth.
Thank you.
The whole movement, the momentum. So talk about soul wealth because that's really the power of sisterhood.
It is.
So yes, talk about that. So I'm so excited about that.
So
yes.
Soul Wealth was birthed about 2 years ago when I was preparing to do my TED Talk that you mentioned in my bio. And it was just a divine download in the moment of preparation, being the result of sisterhood. Soul wealth is the result of sisterhood. So when you connect, when you put all the broken pieces of who you are as a person together, and then that whole connects with another sister and she's whole, the result is soul wealth. Soul wealth is abundance, compassion, and authentic beingness with yourself first, then others. That's what soul wealth is. And soul wealth just became, my mission, my passion, and the filter, if I can call it that, the lens through which I live and move and be.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And so it is to provoke everyone I meet to that place of soul wealth, which if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be tranquility, a place of peace, a place of serenity. It shifts atmospheres, it transforms lives. And so out of that was birthed the Soul Wealth Academy, where I work with women one-on-one and in groups. Out of that was birthed Soul Wealth Tees, which is a t-shirt line that I'm working on. And out of that has come the Soul Wealth Foundation, which I am now going to house all of the work that I do with women and girls under the Soul Wealth Foundation. And our mission and our passion, will be fostering relationships and connections between women and girls, manifesting in sacred sisterhood, just strengthening the multi-generational connections between women and girls. I'm already doing that through, strategic communications with a career in broadcasting, media, and entertainment. So through media campaigns, through collaborative partnerships, through community advocacy, all the stuff I'm already doing, just bringing it into one place under the umbrella of soul wealth, really to infect the world with it. That is my mission, to infect the world with soul wealth, especially in the midst of so much chaos. Soul wealth is going to be seeds of hope, that are planted in women and girls. And so I'm just excited, like, Vikki, can you really do another thing? When I think I have gotten to a place of I'm just going to ride this out, God gives me something else. And I am just now really focused and committed, even had a conversation this morning, another provoking conversation to really building out that legacy and that being the legacy of soul wealth, not just for me, but for everyone who's ever experienced it, to be able to relate and integrate that into your life in a way that gives you some sense of peace, right? The ultimate goal is great peace. But if you could just get a little peace, PEACE, if you can just get a little peace these days, just in the light of all that is going on globally, that's what we need. And so that's what Soul Wealth is. That's my baby. That has grown into a toddler.
Yeah, and it's a movement. And can I tell y'all, she rocked that TED Talk. Okay, with my favorite color on, I might add, red. And I was so excited. I was so proud to be there in that moment with you. But the thing that I come to know is that you are absolutely correct about the multi-generational relationships. I grew up in the house with my mom and my grandmother. And I can see how both of them played their own individual powerful roles in my life. All of who I am is the result of who they were and who they poured themselves into me. So I think that's great. One of the things that I know that you are doing, and I love that, and I was like, I got to be a part of this some kind of way. The whole initiative as it relates to young women and the dentist.
Yeah.
And awesome? Love that smile. I love that. I'm like, okay, no, I'm getting in this. You know me. I'm like, I'm doing a cleaning. I'm going to be a sponsor to do a cleaning or something, because it's so important.
It is important
as it relates to our confidence. And my mom spent a lot of money in my mouth, because she understood that really is a part of how you present yourself. So talk about that. Now listen, y'all. Dr. Vikki has all these great initiatives that you can plug into, because I'm going to be a sponsor. I'm doing something for one of these babies, okay? You can join us. So listen at this awesome initiative that she has going with her dentist. And this is not the first time that she's done it.
Right.
So listen, I want you to be a part of this, because I'm going to be one of the sponsors. Listen, I don't even know if she having sponsors. I'm making myself a sponsor. Okay, so talk about that.
That's so awesome. So about maybe 7-8 years ago, when I was doing Girl Talk, I used to do this quarterly event called Girl Talk. And one of the events was called Girl, You Need to Hear This, where I would gather, 500 to 800 women every quarter. It was supported by the radio station I was on at the time. And we would just get together and talk. Well, one of them was Girl, You Need to Hear This, where I had a panel full of men. Of men. And my dentist was one of the panelists, Dr. Marcus Tappan. And I just love how God impacts my world with just divine downloads, right? Spontaneous downloads.
Yes,
that's what they are.
yes.
And so in that session, he was inspired to give a complete makeover to one of the women who attended. So I just selected this particular woman. She had been a blessing in my life. And he gave her a complete, like $20,000 complete smile makeover. Totally made over. Her smile, the shape of her face changed, the face of her life changed. Like she just became a totally different person. Her confidence shot up, and it was just a difference, and that just felt so good, right? I didn't think he could top that. Recently, he said, you know what, Vikki, I want to do another makeover. He said, this time, let's do it for a teenage girl.
Yes.
And I was like, really? He said, let's not just do one girl. Like, we'll do a complete makeover for one young lady. Pick 3, though, because I'll do like a complete cleaning for 2 of them, but we'll do a complete smile makeover for one of them. And so we're in that process now, where I posted it, I shared it on some of my social media, not all. Some of it, just asking if you knew of a young girl, teenager between 13 and 17, who needs a smile makeover, to just email me her photo and in about 300 to 500 words, why this will make a difference in her life.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Well, I'm sponsoring something. I don't know what it's going to be. One of the cleaning. And the thing that occurred to me, I don't know if you remember that story several years ago. A young man, he was about 12, and because his parents didn't have any dental insurance, he ended up dying because they couldn't get the dental care that he needed. And it's so important.
It is.
And so I appreciate you for just your visionary stuff. I mean, and that's, because you always coming up with something so dynamic. I'm like, I'm going to be a sponsor. I'm going to get somebody's teeth clean. I don't know who it is.
Thank you.
But that's just one of the great things that you do. The Girl Talk Unplugged, the what was it? The Sisters Leaders Network that we had. Listen to me, that we had.
That was awesome, right?
Yes, that was so
It was
awesome.
the Sacred Sister Leaders Network.
Yeah,
We did a
Sacred
brunch
Sisters
on the
Leaders
beach.
Network
Yes.
brunch on the beach.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, it was
y'all go
great.
to our pages. I have pictures. Okay, we had a great time. Just
Amazing.
all of these wonderful initiatives that you have pulled together, really building women up and empowering women, and that's so awesome. And so I know you have some other events coming up. So let's go through those, because we're going to end this, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the financial aspect of people's lives. Okay. So we have the flyer. So let's go to flyer 1, and I want you to talk about this Soul Wealth 360 initiative.
Oh my God.
Girl, oh my
Is
goodness.
that
And
not
wait a
amazing?
minute. All of these powerhouses, okay? Yes, my sister Anika, Lucinda, Pastor Vita, girl, please,
Yeah,
Dr.
Cheryl
Renee.
Pullins.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
yes. So talk about this initiative.
360 Wealth Women's Conference is actually the vision of Shirley Johnson, who's there at the top. And her mission is to empower women in the area of wealth, right? Financially. She's a financial specialist. And I just challenged her. I said, let's talk about wealth in every area of life. And so each of these ladies who I'm on this flyer with are talking about a different area of wealth. And that's where the 360 comes from. You know, if you have money, but you're about to have a nervous breakdown, money does you no good.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And if you have money and you have your right mindset, but your health is
Absolutely.
off track, like it does you no good. So each one of us, Sharon Jameson is talking about relationship wealth, because, you know, having all the things you desire, having, you know, good health, your mind and emotions are straight, but you don't have anybody in your life because you don't manage relationships well.
Right.
Like, it is just addressing every area of the pie of wealth. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
It's unlock, activate, accelerate, and dominate your life. 360 Wealth in Fort Lauderdale, my favorite place.
Right.
On the beach. And it's going to really be an intimate experience. And I'm just really excited about that. So I just really set the intention this year to join forces with other women to impact other women.
Yes.
And so this is one that is coming up. So I'm really excited about the 360 Wealth.
Yeah, that's going to be
Women's
awesome.
Conference.
So make sure that you check this out. Friday, July 22nd through Sunday, July 24th. That's my mom's birthday. July 24th in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Okay, so let's go to number 2. Oh, yes. And Lisa Nicole
Yeah, Lisa
Cloud.
Nicole Cloud is going to be there with us as well. And
Okay.
so there's the registration link there, elite360wealthconference.eventbrite.com. And the registration closes Friday. So jump on that if you're interested in joining us.
Very good. Okay. All right. So let's go to flyer number 2. Girl, you just have so many things going on. I love this Positive Minded Sisters Conference. So talk a little bit about
Oh my
that.
gosh, I am so excited to be reconnecting with Lady Cynthia Moore. So proud of her and all the work that she and her husband, Pastor Anthony Moore, have done over the years. They now Carolina Church.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
They used to be right up here in Northwest.
Right.
Now they're out in Fort Washington.
Okay, as soon as you said Anthony Moore, so now you know that my family started Exodus Missionary Baptist Church, which they've spent off from. Yeah. All right. So
Connections.
right. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, and so excited. Bishop Millicent Hunter is the speaker on Friday night, and I, along with Darlene Hart and Janisa Kennedy, are doing workshops on Saturday. So Bishop Hunter is Friday night, and then we're doing workshops on Saturday. So I'm super excited about that's a reconnection for me. That's here locally in Fort Washington. So I'm excited about that. Just looking forward to reconnecting with her because we've known each other over 25 years, probably, when we both were in the early stages of ministry. She was a very, very young pastor's wife, you know, when we met, and I don't even think I was in ministry. Did not have anything in front of my name. You know, really had just gotten myself together. I was just coming out of Howard University, so you understand the healing that was taking place. You know, like the redirection that I was on. Had just joined Greater Mount Calvary, which was up the street on Park Road. But you know, so I'm excited about that. Looking forward to being with the positive-minded sisters.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, and I missed that. It was at Carolina Church. Okay, all right. So then we have this last one that we want to share, and I love that. Don't talk to strangers. Absolutely not. And I love this. So talk a little bit about this.
Oh gosh, Dr. Mary House is, in Las Vegas, Nevada, and she's hosting Pastor Paula White, Sean Strickland, Dr. Sheila Potts there, and Pastor Sonia Mixon. But on Thursday, Sean Strickland and I are in charge leading the Economic Development Day. That's what this day is about. So Sean Strickland is going to be doing the first part, and then I will be facilitating part 2 of the Economic Development Day and Don't Talk to Strangers. And I'm excited about this at Mountaintop Worship Center in Las Vegas, because this conference hosts annually about 2,000 women.
Beautiful.
So that's really going to be a powerful experience.
Beautiful. Okay, so we've gotten that out the way. And now we're going to go into this new initiative that you are embarking on and have been doing it for some time. But of course, you know, it's near and dear to my heart because I just believe that women ought to have their affairs in order, and estate planning is very near and dear to my heart. But just talk about this whole financial piece and how people can get connected, how people can get involved with you on it, because I think it's very powerful, and life insurance and all those good things. Okay, so y'all need to listen real close to this, okay? Because I can't tell you how many stories that I know about as an attorney where a woman's husband has died and she doesn't have any clue of where things are, number one. And number two, there isn't anything to find in some of those cases. And this is what we're working on so that will not be you. All right? So listen up to all these great things that Dr. Vikki is working on.
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity to talk about this, because this is important for me as well. And I've walked it out, which is why I'm so passionate about reaching back to help other women come through this. You know, I've lost it all. Lost the house, lost the car, job, bankruptcy, repossession, foreclosure. Like, if you can name anything related to financial devastation, I've been there and have had to rebuild. So this opportunity was presented to me after I departed from my last position. And I, you know, initially was just getting the information. I understood the power of life insurance and retirement planning and things like that. But then once I really just stepped back and thought how financial empowerment was in such alignment with soul wealth, right? Because if your money is funny, everything else is off track.
Right. Everything else is off track.
Yeah,
Trust
you
and
know,
believe that.
everything else is off track. I mean, your judgment is off. Everything. So, I had really become. My awareness had become heightened to the amount of GoFundMes on social media when someone passed away.
Yeah.
And I said, this is wrong. Like, this is all wrong.
Yes.
So I had the opportunity to get my license, which I did. You know, got licensed in other states because I started having I know a lot of people started having conversations. So in order to serve them, I needed to get licensed in multiple states.
So let's stop, because some people may not understand what you mean by get licensed. So let's explain that.
Sure. So I have my life insurance license, which means I am authorized by the state, certified and insured to write life insurance policies. And I specialize in a particular type of life insurance, which is called an index universal life policy. Mind you, I had never heard of that before getting into this. So I am evolving and expanding as I'm serving, right? That's a motto. I'm evolving, expanding as I am serving.
Yes.
Right? And so I got my license to do life insurance and annuities, which allows me to serve others in a capacity where I can offer life insurance, retirement planning, do rollovers, 401ks, and let's park right there for a minute. If you kept in touch or keep up with what's going on globally, the whole Brexit issue that's going on in Europe with the euro, and so if you have a 401k, this is just an example. If you have a 401k, check your account. In the last 2 weeks, you probably lost $3,000 to $5,000 because 401ks, 403bs, thrift savings plans, SEP IRAs, all of those are impacted by what the stock market is doing. So when we have a major occurrence like what happened in London, it impacts your finances. And for me, Nicole, very transparently, I share, you don't know what you don't know.
Yes, that is
and
true.
So the financial education is priority for me.
Yes.
I invested in my 401k as soon as I was able to. And I was investing the maximum amount, fully expecting that everything I invested and my company matched would be available to me.
Yeah.
When I decided to retire. Well, in 2009, when the stock market crashed really big, that's the last major stock market crash, I lost $60,000 overnight.
Wow.
It just went poof.
Yeah.
And so after I recovered from that depression,
she had to pick herself up. Yes.
literally, after I recovered from that, I was like, this will never happen to me again.
Yeah.
And so I started educating myself. I started reading books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, I just started reading everything, Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Next Door, 1 Minute Million. Every book I could get my hands on. The Retirement Miracle by Patrick Kelly. I just started reading for my own edification.
Yes.
So when I left my last position, decided to get my license. Now I'm just on this mission to integrate this knowledge into what I do with Soul Wealth.
Yes.
Because now it's not just, let me just say, life insurance is not just about having money to bury somebody.
Oh, it's not. That's not. No, let's stop right there. That's not its. That was not its intent. The intent of life insurance is so that the people left behind can maintain
continue
their status of life, their quality of life after that person is gone. So let's be clear. Life insurance is not about the dead. It's
Right.
about the living.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a wealth building tool.
Yes.
It is a wealth building tool. It's a wealth building tool. Let me say that again, because a lot of people even shy away from the conversation because they think it's about death, and it's not. It
Well,
is
let me tell you my
maintaining a
response to
quality
that.
of life.
The death rate is 100%. Okay, now people say they can't take that. But see, for me, having lost my mother and my grandmother and know what it takes to survive afterwards, because I'm still living off of my grandmother's money now. Okay, so to understand that, I just have a different perspective on it. And so when it's time to make the presentation, I don't have time to get into your emotions. I'm trying to make sure that your family is taken care of after the fact. So no one has escaped. So we in our community are the only ones that don't have this conversation, because other communities, they have it so freely. Honey, I'm dying next week. All of the papers are in the safe deposit box. I mean, that's how it goes.
That's true.
Okay? So when you start having this conversation, and this is why I appreciate this initiative and what you're working on, because we have to really get underneath all of the other stuff that's there to even begin to have the conversation. But it's so critically important because now passing the hat has just turned into GoFundMe.
Absolutely.
Because that's essentially what it is.
It's
Okay, so
absolutely it.
keep going. You know me, I'll interject.
No, that's fine. And I cringe every time I see a GoFundMe account to pay for somebody's funeral.
Right.
Because I'm like, after the funeral, then what?
Then what?
And from a spiritual perspective, it's delaying the emotional process of grieving. You can't even grieve the loss because you're focused on how are we going to pay for this.
Absolutely.
And, be clear. You're so vulnerable in that moment that the funeral home is a business.
Lord Jesus, wait a minute. Let me tell you. This happened to me. But they didn't know that this chica right here was already ahead of the game. So, do you know that there is, and I know you do, there are 2 different price lists when you go to the funeral home and the cemetery.
Yes.
There is the
They have insurance.
no. They have the what do you call it? And I should know this. The pre stage when you're planning, pre-planning. I'm sorry, pre-planning, and then they have the at need. The at need is so many percentages higher than the pre-planning. And so I go and I get everything set up because now I'm thinking that my grandmother, she was in a nursing facility. They said, okay, you all need to get prepared. Okay, fine. So I go and I get everything together, only to have my mom pass first. And so while I was there, I bought another one. So when I go 2 weeks later, not knowing it was going to be that quick, go 2 weeks later, they pull out the at-need price list. I looked at it, I said, wow, y'all really do this to people. But I don't need your at-need because here's my paperwork for I've already done the pre-planned one that was a different price. Wow.
And you're so vulnerable in that moment, right?
Wow.
You're so vulnerable in that moment
Right.
that most people are like, oh, we're going to do it big.
Yeah.
You're going to do it big, and then after it's over
Yeah.
and everybody goes home
Yeah.
and you're just sitting there looking at the walls like,
Yeah.
now what?
Yeah.
Right? So it's about mindset. It's about shifting mindset and having, I like to call it legacy conversations. What is the legacy you want to leave? And so that's how I approach this conversation. Let's talk about your legacy. What does that look like? When you're no longer here, how do you want the people that you love to move forward?
Absolutely.
What does that look like? And it goes back into what your specialty is. It goes into estate planning, setting up a trust. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
And so it's about sprinkling, because it can be overwhelming, sprinkling a little information at a time, just enough, okay, go read this book and then come back and let's talk. And other cultures do this well in advance.
Absolutely.
They do it generations in advance.
Absolutely.
To be frank about it.
Absolutely.
And so it's about changing the mindset. One person at a time. You don't eat a steak by putting the whole thing in your mouth.
Yes.
It's one bite at a time. So even in this conversation, if we're chipping away at a piece of ignorance, right?
Yes.
And replacing that with knowledge and information. If this hopefully is provoking you to go pick up a book, go Google something, and learn something, and then make a different decision.
Absolutely.
That's the other thing. It is the subsequent behavior that ultimately you want to change, to the point now, Nicole, that before I spend money on anything, I literally stop and say, do I really need this?
Right.
Like, where am I going to put this?
Yeah.
And going through my closet,
Yeah.
like, do I want to? I don't wear this. I haven't worn this in a year. Let me bless somebody with this.
Absolutely.
So it just causes you to be sober, is the word. Is
like
to really be connected to every moment and be sober about your life. Why? Because, and here we go back to soul wealth. Because when we're born, we are born with a specific amount of heartbeats. Your heartbeat number is different from my heartbeat number, right? And I've shared this before. And so when you're stressed, you use up extra heartbeats.
That's good, sister.
At the
That's
end
good.
of life,
That's good, sister.
right? At the end of life, when you have reached your maximum number of heartbeats that you were given before you came here, when you reach that maximum number, barring any accident or premature death, you're out of here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're gone. And so I started living my life like, is this moment worth a heartbeat? Like, if it's not, if it is, just even, with people just dying over stupid stuff, like, is this argument, like, do I want to die today?
Yeah.
Over this? Like, no, it's a very sober way of living. That's what soul wealth produces. It produces sobriety. It produces, let me hurry up and get over to the station so I can have this sister moment, you know, with Nicole, so we can create this memory, right? To look back on, laugh about later, and then move forward. Like, you have to really be sober. Check in with your life. Live a conscious life. Be aware of what's going on in your life. And anything that's not serving you, that's not building you up, that's not nurturing you, get rid of it. And if it's a person, get rid of them.
Get
It's
rid
about
of them.
peace.
I love that. I said this way. You're only allotted so much energy, and you determine how you expend that energy. And it's just as simple as that. I love the heartbeat analogy. I love that. And that's exactly what we have to do, because, you know, losing my mom as suddenly as I did, that changed the whole course of my thought process, my life, what I give my energy to. I don't have time for foolery. I don't have time for, and you know, when you start to live soberly, it puts some people off because they can't understand it. Because it's like, okay, well, no, that worked last week. Well, no. And sometimes it's a life changing, or, you know, life transforming situation that pushes you into that sobriety. But when you have the opportunity to make the change just voluntarily, I think that's great. But for me, it was, nope, I'm not going down like that, and I'm not going out like that. My mother went to sleep and had a heart attack in her sleep. And, you know, it's really about the pressures of life, the things that you're talking about, and really changing all of that. Because some of the things that people put energy into is really not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. And you often stop to think, and this is why I love the whole coaching and, you know, working with you and your Soul Wealth Academy, working one-on-one and in groups, because you really have to change your whole environment.
You do.
Not just the thing and the person, but your whole environment. So talk a little bit about just recalibrating yourself, that the energy that you allow into your space is important.
Whew. Take a deep breath.
Breathe, everybody, breathe.
Yeah, take a deep breath, you know, and that's a practice. That's a tool I just used. Sometimes you have to stop and just breathe, because life will cause you to shallow breathe, right? And you're not giving your body and your organs the oxygen that you need to get through the moment, right? So that's a tool to use. Remember to breathe. I just like to insert that there. Remember to breathe sometimes. Just stop and take a deep breath, right? And just get centered back into your life. One of the most fulfilling things that we can do is to be in purpose, on purpose. That's the calibration. That's the recalibration. Is this not so much what I was born to do? Am I being who I was born to be?
Yes.
Because if you are being who you were born to be, the doing is natural.
Yes. I love it. Yes.
Right? We get stressed out and anxious when we are out of alignment with who God called us to be. That it really is that simple, and you know it. You feel it when you go to that job you hate. And you're not appreciated, and you're passed over and underserved and abused, and, you know, it's just not in alignment. Because when it is in alignment, that's the recalibration.
Yes.
Because wealth is not about how much money you have in the bank only. It is about having options. It is about the options that wealth produces, like life insurance.
Absolutely.
Life insurance leaves the family with options. You don't have to sell the house if you don't want to.
Yes.
You can keep it in the house, in the family, and pass it down to generations, you know, which is what our ancestors worked so hard for.
Yes.
Right? To give us wealth, ownership, and options. And so the, what is the word? The urgency of recalibrating your relationships and your life is to make sure you're surrounded by people that provoke you to grow. Not the emotional vampires that suck the life out of you. Right? Leave you stressed out, strained. Like, I'm at the point now is like, if you wear me out, you get to do that like one time.
Right. Right.
then I know I have to extend the boundaries. Right? It's all about boundaries. Some of us need to reinstitute boundaries in our lives.
And so I would say, if I'm watching and I'm saying that's good, I like that, but how do I do it? How do I institute those boundaries?
Oh, I just got it. Like I got the divine download as you were answering. So anything that feels like betrayal is a marker for you to set a boundary. Whatever gets you back in alignment with yourself. A lot of times we betray ourselves so that everybody else will be okay. Right? So, and those moments. Like I can't tell you that what those moments are. You feel it. It's called spiritual intuition. You know it. And so okay, here we go. Stop doing things you don't want to do.
Right.
Stop saying yes,
Yes.
when your heart really is saying no, and stop saying no when it's something you really want to do, but you don't want to show up big and shine because you're worried about, well, what are they going to think about if I really step into my shine? But stepping into your shine is what gives other people around you permission to shine.
Absolutely.
Somebody has to be courageous to be in alignment and not betray yourself. And that is the most you talk about Independence Day. That is the most liberating thing. If you don't want to do something, just don't do it. Say no.
Absolutely.
And let no be a complete sentence. Is it easy? Often not. You have to practice that.
Absolutely.
You have to practice that because repetition creates mastery. Right? I played basketball right over there. HU. I was on a basketball scholarship at Howard. And, did I like running around the reservoir? Hated it.
Right.
But running around the reservoir created capacity and endurance. But when I got in those moments in the game where other people were ready to quit, those suicides that we used to hate running in the gym, gave us the capacity to endure.
Yes.
Right? When other people got to their quitting point, we got that second win.
Yes.
And so setting boundaries gives you a second win. It allows you to sit back, reevaluate, recalibrate, and then make a different decision next time. Now, listen, making a different decision, because you're getting the revelation now. I'm just giving you the warning. You're getting the revelation or the information now. Revelation creates a revolution, right? Revolution looks like rebellion to the people who no longer benefit from your behavior prior to the revelation.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Nelson Mandela got a revelation. Apartheid is wrong. He started a revolution. To the people who are benefiting off of those constraints and restraints, that revolution looked like rebellion, which is why he ended up in prison.
Yes.
But the revelation always precedes a revolution that is going to liberate, not just you. See, this journey you're watching today, because what's attached to you is not just about you. There is a people attached to your responding to this information that you're getting, that you're going to set free and liberate. That beingness we talked about, like when you get this, there's some people attached to you who are going to be set free.
Yes.
Their lives are going to be impacted. They're going to start making different decisions. That's why you're here. That's why you are here. You're not here to get it all for yourself. God trusts you with trouble to expand your capacity so that he can now trust you with success to help other people. And that's what it's about.
That's powerful. I love when you start breaking stuff down. I just could sit there and listen, because you're so masterful with it, and you're so strategic with how you deliver. And that's one of the things that I love about the way that you deliver and the way that you teach and the way that you preach. And so when you start talking about boundaries, one of the things that came to me to ask you about was, talk about, limiting access to you. Because I think that's one of the things that people really feel like they don't have any control over. Well, that's my girl. We go hang out every weekend. No. So talk about the access to you, how that either can make you or break you. people having access to you, and how you have to begin to shelter is probably the better word for it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shelter yourself in place, almost like when you have a storm coming, they're like shelter in place. So talk a little bit about that.
Because self-preservation is critical, right? You can't give away what you don't have. Mm-hmm. And someone just said this to me earlier today, and so I'll just share it. He said to me, Vikki, you're the product. Mm-hmm. It's not what you create. Mm-hmm. It's you.
Yes. Yes.
And so since you are the product, you are the product, you are the product, you have to protect that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You have to protect that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And before you can really expect other people to value the product, you have to value the product. Absolutely. And so to your point in terms of access, because just who I am being now is who I am, mm-hmm. people will just pull on that. Mm-hmm. And if I give it all away and never replenish, mm-hmm. then I am going to suffer. Mm-hmm. And I am not willing to suffer mm-hmm. like that, mm-hmm. right? If I don't have to.
Yes.
Because I've suffered enough to get to this point.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to I'm not willing to suffer like that again.
I've suffered enough to get this wisdom, to get this understanding. The wisdom that I'm blessed to have is experiential. Like, I've walked this out. Mm-hmm. So I'm not shocked by much at all. Like, I've seen almost everything, experienced it, been through it, walked through it with other people. Mm-hmm. And that's where my heartbeat comes for community advocacy, like the Smile Makeover and stuff like that. So it's about value, because the other thing is, Nicole, people really value and respect what they can't get to readily.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That is so good.
If I give it all away, then they don't have to value it because they're getting it for free. It's like when your mom and your grandmama say, girl, if he could get the milk for free, he not going to buy the cow.
Yes.
That old adage, like stop giving away so much access because people value what they have to invest in.
Yes.
So I've learned to require reciprocity is the word. I've learned to require reciprocity.
Yeah.
Now if I just want to give it, that's my prerogative. Like, I can just give it, but I get to decide when I turn that on and off. Yeah. And so it's about reciprocity. And people don't always respond to that kindly, but now I want to say I don't care, but I'm not aware of it because I shut off.
I'll say it for her. We don't care. You understand that? We don't care. Okay.
She's a fire. I'm the water.
Right. We don't care. Honey, I grew up an only child, baby. I had to fight for myself, all that. We don't care. All right? Listen, our time always runs out when we're having the most awesome conversations, okay? And I have to allow you, Dr. Vikki, to give a parting word. I can't believe it's been an hour already. Can you believe this? So I'm so excited about our time together next week, baby. We're going to be in Dallas. Yes.
I'm super
funning
excited
in the sun, working too, but funning in the sun. Can't wait to hear what God will say to the people. Some of them don't know it's God speaking, but can't wait to hear what God's going to say. Okay. For our opening session at the FEW National Training Program. But give us a parting word, Soul Wealth. I love this. Soul Wealth Academy. Listen, y'all have to connect with Dr. Vikki all across social media platforms. Vikki Johnson.
Yes, Vikki Johnson, Vikki, VikkiJohnson.com. And then you can connect with all of my social media via my website, as well as join my mailing list. I send out a Soul Wealth newsletter. Try to do it twice a month. But would love to connect with you virtually. And just grateful, Nicole. Thank you so much. I posted on your Facebook page. I'm just so grateful for your generosity. In my life, I count it to be a gift. And that's what I'll just leave with. Celebrate the people who celebrate you. Stop chasing people who are running away from you.
Oh, gosh. Oh, please
and
stop it.
turn around and run toward the people who are running toward you.
Yes.
Because that's where the value of relationship is. It is about relationship.
Absolutely.
It is about connection. You know, I like to say, and I've posted before, you know, your job, that car, all those red bottom shoes, or, you know, all of your investments, they're not going to come visit you if you end up in the hospital.
Well.
You know, they're not going to come and support you when you're burying a loved one. It is about relationship equity. And so if I can offer you anything today, it would be to value your relationships, because relationships are the bridge over any kind of terrain in life.
Yes.
It's your relationships that get you from one place to the other. And so I'm just grateful for this relationship.
Yes, my sister.
Yeah,
I love her. I so love her.
I love her too.
Okay, listen. So we're going to take this on. We're going to go probably get us something to eat or something, because that's how we do, right? So you have to invest in the relationships. I so wholeheartedly agree with that. And not only that, value the information that you get when you're in the presence of the anointing, when you're in the presence of God and human beings, because that's exactly what you have just experienced. Yes. And so we bring you that kind of anointing and that kind of wisdom on the Nicole Mason Show. So same time, same place next week.
3, 2.
See ya. So let me just take a breather. Y'all know me. I'm high energy, right? By this point, I was working on my master's of law. Finished law school, passed the bar, then did my master's of law. But the thing that really crystallized for me being a mom and able to be successful is you have to have the support, right?
I remember God saying to me, listen, if you didn't die at the point of impact, you're going to be okay. You know the point of impact. When you get the knock on the door, you know the point of impact. When you pick up the phone and you get that news. If you didn't die on the point of impact, you're going to be all right. That's a good place to clap your hands right there.
Inside of you. There's something more powerful inside of you. Honey, y'all better take a breath. I'm telling you.
It wasn't mine.
You gonna get some deliverance here today.